Disclaimer: I am not a mechanic, AMP, AMT, AME, not a CFI, CFII. Well, you get the point. If you have any questions, concerns, etc., seek the advice of experts. I'm a private pilot who owns a plane and is trying to give back to the aviation community by sharing my own experience in aircraft ownership. Please refer to your aircraft's POH, as every aircraft is very different. And remember, we're all in this together, so be safe out there.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Thrifty Pilot. I'm going to talk to you today about something that's near and dear to my heart. Headset selection, something I've spent, so much money on I can't even count. Not even funny, trying to get the latest, best, greatest thing, the most comfortable headset out there. Something that will make my flying more enjoyable, my passengers flying more enjoyable. Basically, I want to tell you the things to avoid when it comes to headset selection. So let's get started with this. Basically, everybody who knows about flying knows that you need a headset that enables you to talk to other passengers, to air traffic control, to people in the sky with you. Without a headset, you're pretty much dead in the water unless you are just spinning around the airport and you have the eyes open looking for airplanes 24/7. It's not the most enjoyable experience unless you have maybe possibly an open canopy aircraft. So for the most of us who fly or fly with pilots as passengers, you're going to need a decent headset, something that you are comfortable with and you know how to operate. So basically, I'm going to use Sporty's Pilot Shop for my examples here. Great place to look for different items as a pilot. Has everything that you'd need. A lot of times when you go out looking on the interwebs, you find some questionable resellers. You might want to just stick to the actual tested, true pilot shops like Sporty's Pilot Shop. So when you initially go on a website like this, you want to look under, of course, the aviation headset section, and you want to figure out where you're at in your aviation career. Are you a student? Are you a pilot that goes up every once in a while and enjoys the good weather? Or are you someone that flies professionally? This is more for student pilots and the casual pilots. This, of course, could go for professional pilots as well, but for the most part, it's broken up into the beginners, the ones that are just entering aviation, and the ones that are casual pilots. Those two classes I know best. Again, this may apply to more commercial or seasoned pilots. However, this is my limited knowledge about headsets. Like I said, I've owned quite a few. I have had a chance to work with these, and I have noticed some consistencies throughout, depending on which ones you get. So basically, when you get down to it, you've got two different types of headsets. Active noise reduction, which actually uses electronics to reduce the amount of cockpit noise that your ears are able to hear. And then you have passive noise reduction. Basically, it's using the cup of the ear or the headsets to try to cancel out noise entering your ears. So the least expensive are, of course, going to be the passive noise reduction in most cases because you don't need any of the fancy electronics to cancel out the noise. Doesn't necessarily mean that that is a good or bad thing. It's more of a preference. I know quite a few people that have the passive noise reduction headphones, or headsets rather, because the active noise reduction mechanism in the headsets actually messes with their ears, especially altitude. When you're rising above the clouds and you have that altitude change, some people are not great at equalization or they have pressure differences, so the active noise reduction might actually be a hindrance to that equalization. The passive noise reduction headsets are better in that case, so something to think about there. So when you're looking through this, price is not a good indicator of quality. Price is just how much you want to pay, along with a lot of other things in aviation. It's how much you want to pay for this stuff. You can get something that does almost the exact same thing as a pair of $1,500 headsets, and you'll be just as good. Now, this right here, the ASA Classics, are a passive noise reduction. These are actually tried, true, tested, great headsets for people who are just entering aviation or for your passengers. Again, you don't have those mechanisms that you have to change out batteries for that could possibly result in equalization issues. They're just good headsets to have laying around. If you're just getting into aviation and you're not sure which way it's going to go, you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a headset right off the bat. You want to make sure that that aviation is for you, that you are comfortable in your headset. So a good starter pair that's comfortable, that's easy to go, easy to throw in your bag, will take a lot of abuse, are these guys right here. It's not a lot to break on them. I've had personal experiences with this. I've had training in these headsets, meaning I was in training, so I was a student, and I just wanted something that would get me through, and these definitely got me through. If you notice on these headsets here, or ones like these, they have the individual volume controls on both sides. That makes it really easy for your passengers too. They don't have to fiddle around with extra controls. They just reach up near their ear and they can visually and tactile these buttons so they can actually adjust them to where they need to be. It's a lot easier for them to reach up as opposed to fiddle around. Again, great way to start off. You don't need to spend a lot of money on this stuff. You just want to know if this is what if this is what you want to do, or if this is what you want to continue with. Start off slow. Start off with $100 pair. That's basically that's less than a tank of gas in your plane. So as you move up and you want something more comfortable, again, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a headset. This right here is the Lightspeed Sierra headset. This has most of all the features that the more expensive headsets provide. Extremely comfortable, has the padding on there. It has Bluetooth, which is great, so you can start listening to music on long stretches. I know if you fly out west or a lot of places that don't have heavy ATC control or heavy traffic, listening to the radio really gets you through those long flights. If you're a student, you don't want to be preoccupied by listening to music or podcasts, but if you're a pilot that's going through the same route, or do you have to travel for work or something to that effect, these are great. Another comment real quick is this has the line in. Some of the lesser expensive ones will have line ins, so even if you don't have that Bluetooth option, you can still use your cell phone or some type of device where you can plug directly in line with the headset, so you're still able to have that. However, the Lightspeed has it right there. You can listen to your tunes on you go. It's a plug and play. It does take a battery, as most active noise reduction headsets will take, but the battery lasts for ever and a day. Make sure you store away a few batteries just in case, though. Good thing to do is when you start off with that less expensive headset, make sure you keep your headsets. You don't want to constantly be switching them over because you want to build up quite a few headsets. I actually have about 4 or 5 laying around as alternate headsets if I have one that goes down, or I have another pilot friend that needs to borrow one, or I have a passenger. Passengers are key to this. You don't want to leave them hanging without a headset. So a great idea. You don't have to spend a tremendous amount of money to have a headset that will last you through pretty much your entire flying career. Another good point is with most of these headsets, they come with great warranties. I know I've personally had issues with a few of them, and I've worked with the customer service, and as long as you buy them through an authorized retailer, you're good to go. Lastly, you have the upper end, and those include headsets as the Bose A20. Again, they have pretty similar features actually, comparable against the Lightspeeds or something into the mid-tier range. However, a lot of times there's minor fit and finish details that make them, nice. Um, these headsets will last pretty much forever, so if you decide to stay with aviation for an extended period of time, spending $1,100 on a good quality headset, or even the Lightspeed, which was $700, it's a great investment. I know the most powerful thing in my flight bag, the most useful thing in my flight bag will always be my headset, period, by far. So if you're thinking of the upper echelon of these headsets, I really strongly suggest trying them out. A lot of times if you spend a tremendous amount of money just because of the features that a headset has, you'll run into an instance that you may not actually enjoy the feel of the headset, which is paramount. You must enjoy your headset. You must be able to wear those things for an extended periods of time. Wear them with sunglasses, without sunglasses. Try a hat on. Try it without a hat. All of the conditions that you would normally be flying in. And a lot of times, if you go to a local FBO or if you order off of even these retailers, they'll allow you a period of time where you can try out these headsets, and it's definitely worth it. Um, I know with me, I prefer actually the Lightspeed. They're a little bit more comfortable over the Bose. Um, they have a wiring thing. The Lightspeed's a little bit lighter. A couple different points on there. It's all just personal preference. I'm sure there'll be someone out there with the same argument for the Bose. Both are good. I've bought and sold probably, I don't know how many. I have quite a few speeds, the Bose, the ASAs, you name it. And it's really all about how they fit on your head, how comfortable they are, and cockpit management. You don't want a lot of wires going around. You don't want a lot of things to fail on you. You want to make sure that you can just throw it in your bag, stick it in your plane, and go, and you know how to use it. You don't want to take your time off of your gauges or off of, if you're flying VFR, off of the horizon to be fiddling with these things. You want them to just work. So the last little piece there is if you're buying used, like a lot of students will initially, don't be apprehensive about it. Make sure you know that the things work. That's definitely a plus. I have an eBay tab up. eBay does have protection for buyers. If they come to you and they do not work, you usually have that point in time where you're able to return them. And another key thing is I've noticed that really the only thing with headsets that get kind of weird are the actual pads. So the microphone cover, which is easily replaceable, and you can see this one's for the Bose. Top of the line deal. It's only going to cost you $10.50, and you can probably find this for a little bit less elsewhere for a new mic pad. So just tear the old one off, throw it away, put a new one on, and you're good to go. Replacement cushions, you can get these pretty much anywhere. These again are the Bose there. For brand new replacement pads for the X or the 20s, they're going to run $27, $35. And if you replace these two guys right here, you're going to save quite a few $100, and you're basically going to have a brand new set of headset, or you're going to have a brand new headset. So that way you can save a ton of money. You'll basically have a brand new headset, and you can even get a line adapter that will switch it out for Bluetooth. However, I really don't recommend this, believe it or not, because it adds just another element that you're going to be fiddling with in the cockpit. I would just stick to the line in if you don't have Bluetooth on your headset. So Bose headsets, a lot of times you can find them on eBay, Craigslist, Make sure that you know that they work. Sites like eBay offer a return policy. A lot of times you can use a credit card, so if you don't have the money all up front, so on and so forth, it gives you a little bit more flexibility. And you'll see a lot of headsets on there where someone has gotten the top of the line headset, was a student, has flown a few times and said, you know what, this is either too much time I'm going to have to invest in this thing, or it's going to be too much money, one thing or another. They're selling these things online for a lot less. In this case, believe it or not, $8.99 is a lot less than the headset, as you could see over here. It's a few $100, which will definitely help you out. And they're hardly ever used. It's the craziest thing. Everybody likes to buy these things brand new, but you take a little wipe, you wipe it around, there you go, they're good as new. Lastly, on Craigslist, I've noticed that a lot of times you'll have people that are either getting out of aviation, as this person is, or is a student that just needs to get money quickly and is selling off their equipment. So don't rule that out. Another thing is since you're actually meeting these people in person, you might want to meet them at the airport so you can plug these things in. That way you know right off the bat if they're working or not. Also on Craigslist, you have that negotiability factor where you don't necessarily have that on eBay or sites like that. So this person, for instance, is trying to unload a bunch of equipment. He's got some David Clarks, which are great headsets, selling them for $349, which wasn't too bad. You can probably talk them down a little bit. You've got David Clarks for hardly nothing, which is awesome. The H20s are good headsets. They'll work just fine. They're passive, which is okay. Though, however, the cups usually will fit most ears and will get a tight seal. So great headsets on those. So the basics of these videos are pretty much, or this video rather, is why are you actually buying them? Like, are you buying them just because they're the coolest, latest thing, or you want something that's comfortable? So don't look right at the highest and see how much you can afford. Figure out what you want and why you're buying them and if they're going to be comfortable or not. Also, the more junk that you have going on is the more stuff you have to fiddle with when you're in the air. I know when you're coming down on a Class Delta or a Class Charlie airport, last thing you want to do is lose contact with the tower. That's absolutely horrible. If your battery goes out or something to that effect, if you have wireless headphone or headsets or all those other little weird things that they're trying to shoot at you now, you don't need all of that, especially if you're just beginning. So make sure that you're buying what you want. Make sure you have a good warranty. If you're buying new, you're getting it from a reputable dealer that will actually honor that warranty. I know that sometimes those warranties don't carry over, so keep that in mind. Make sure you manage your plug type. Sometimes you get things off of eBay. People have these because their uncle gave them to them or something to that effect. Make sure you've got the right plug type so you can avoid all that hassle. Line in is just as good as Bluetooth. That phone's going to be near you. That cord line in is going to be next to you. I really use Bluetooth just as much as my line ins, and I don't have any problem at all. Again, personal preference, but that's up to you guys. So that's pretty much it. Appreciate you sticking through this whole video with me. Hopefully I helped you out a bit going through my own experiences. If I would have done it, if I would have done this all over again, I probably would have kept some headsets and never bought some other headsets that I did end up buying. So be safe out there. Have a great day and see you soon.